Hi everybody, this is Hero from the Birds back with another Shadowlands video. In this video I'd like to look at Marksmanship Hunter for 9.2, specifically looking at the tier sets and the legendary options that we have available to us. In this case, I think Marksman's is pretty straightforward, although maybe it looks a little weird on the surface. The 2 set says trick shots now also increase the damage of the affected shot by 30%, and focus trickery 4-piece spending 80 focus grants you 2 charges of trick shot. So trick shot technically is an AoE portion of our rotation as marksmanship. So we fire multi-shot into 3 targets. Then we get a buff called trick shots. Then we can fire off an aim shot into that pile or rapid fire, and it bounces around. So the 2 shot is just going to buff the damage. That doesn't really do anything for us in single target because we'll never have access to trick shots. The 4-piece, however, automatically grants you trick shots, so it bypasses the requirement to fire a multi-shot off into 3 targets, meaning that every 80 focus you spend, the next 2 aim shots or rapid fire is going to get a benefit. So aim shot and rapid fire represent something like 25 to 30% of our damage overall, which is pretty remarkable. If we put that together with Night Fae, it's a little bit more because we're getting more damage from wild spirits, but overall that's a pretty big chunk of your damage, and so this is just going to be basically a boost to that damage. Spending 80 focus is actually not that difficult to do given the price of aim shot and rapid fire, excuse me, not rapid fire, and arcane shot I should have said. So it's just going to come naturally, and this doesn't really adjust our rotation at all, in my view, as far as Marksman is concerned. I think this is going to make Marksman probably less of a priority overall as a spec in Mythic rating. And the reason I say that is because even though this is a boost to your damage profile in single target and AoE, it doesn't seem to me to be something that puts Marksman way over the top. So if nothing changed, if they had no tuning changes, and we were just looking at the tier sets and what kind of impact they're going to have on the gameplay and the damage of the character, I'd have to say that Marksman seems pretty ordinary to me, and you're not likely to see significant improvement. Marksman is one of those classes that gets around 10% damage out of the domination socket, so usually we play with Bloodlink as Marksman, and you're getting about 10% of your damage. My assumption is that will be completely gone. So we have to take that into consideration when we're looking at next tier. Other classes or other specs that really don't gain very much of a benefit from any of the domination sockets are potentially in a position to do a lot better once the tier sets are released. Obviously, I'm still speculating here, but I don't really see any major changes coming into play for your rotation. I think a lot of this stuff is still set in stone. The one change we're also looking forward to is doubling up on our legendaries, 1 from Covenant, 1 from General Pool. I still think Serpent Stalker's Trickery and either Pouch and more likely Fragments is the way to go. And part of the reason for this is if you just look at the damage profile and what percentage these are already adding onto your kit, it's a pretty clear winner in single target over the other ones. Maybe there's an option for more explosive shots for AoE out of Necrolord. Maybe there could be some need for resonating arrow if you have a really weird encounter where you have to line of sight, and you can still damage the boss. That might be something that would be really valuable just in a niche scenario. So this is always an option. But as far as the regular gameplay that we're looking forward to, I'm imagining Serpent Stalker with Night Fae is going to be the way to go. One note here. Pouch is going to introduce a little bit more complexity to your build, but I think Marksmanship can make use of it, especially since it's proc-based. It actually gives you a button to press in between aim shot if you need to move somewhere. So it's not quite as heavy of a requirement, especially for Survival Hunter, which if they play Pouch, they definitely pressurize their GCDs because they're always going to be wanting to press Raptor Strikes or Mongoose and fill with kill command. They always have buttons to press. And Beast Mastery also, due to the way that everything cools down at each other, filling in with another kill command just adds a little bit of GCD pressure. For Marksmanship, it's a little more laid back or relaxed. You have aim shot cast that you're doing. It doesn't mean there's no pressure, but it does mean that it's a little more accessible if you want to play Venthyr instead. Hope that helps you guys to see some of the shape of marksmanship going forward. I'm imagining Blizzard is aiming to have this stuff tuned to around 6 to 8% for your entire tier set bonus, and marksmanship seems to me to sidle in right in the middle between a really oddly designed survival style where it's all about boosting your AoE, and the single target side of it is just going to have to be tuned a lot better in order for it to be even better than the legendaries that we have access to now. So survival is potentially completely busted in AoE and just basically not even significant or worth changing anything for single target. Whereas on the Beast Mastery side, it's the kill command and Cobra Shot stuff is really focused more on the single target side of amplifying its damage, and the AoE profile is really not really affected too much. So here we are in Marksman. It's kind of halfway between. The first portion still benefits us in AoE because of the bouncing, and the second portion is going to give us even more charges of trick shot every time we spend focus, so that amplifies both our AoE side, but also unlocks the use of trick shots in single target. I think the design's actually kind of cool, but it doesn't really change your rotation and your expectations that much. So just take that with a grain of salt, and we'll see if some of this plays out once they've made a tuning pass on all these things. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you guys again next time. See you later.